welcome to The Explainer. So, if you've ever found yourself staring at a timeline full of clips, just feeling completely overwhelmed, this one's for you. Today, we're going to lay out a really simple step-by-step roadmap to take all the chaos out of video editing. And we're going to start with the one tool you already have, your mind. Okay, let's just start right here, because this is everything. Before you even think about what software to download or what keyboard shortcuts to memorize, the most important shift has to happen up here, in your head. This quote is the key. You see, editing isn't just about clicking buttons, it's about telling a story. You're a filmmaker first and a technician second. So this is our official starting point. Experts all agree that jumping straight into the tools without getting your mindset right, well, it's like trying to run before you can even walk. Sure, you'll learn the buttons, you'll figure out where the menus are, but you're gonna miss the magic of what actually makes a video connect with someone. So what does that look like? It really comes down to these three big shifts. First, story first, tools second. I mean, a powerful story that's edited on a smartphone is always gonna be better than a boring one with all the fancy effects in the world. Second, you have to think like your audience. This one idea will guide every single cut you make. And third, visualize your why. Because let's be real, when you're stuck on a tough edit at 2 in the morning, that's what's going to keep you pushing through. It's such a simple way to reframe it, but man, it changes everything. The software doesn't tell the story, you do. Think if the software is just the paintbrush, you are the artist. Once you really let that sink in, every cut, every transition, every effect you choose, it all starts to have a real purpose. Okay. So, with our mindset locked in, we've arrived at the first big practical stop on our roadmap, choosing your tools. Now, this is a classic spot where beginners get totally stuck in what they call analysis paralysis. But trust me, it's a lot simpler than you might think. You want to know something funny? Here's the one thing all the experts agree on. The specific tool you pick is way less important than how you learn to use it. But to get you started, these are the big three. Premiere Pro is kind of the industry workhorse. DaVinci Resolve has this powerhouse free version, which is just amazing for beginners. And then you've got Final Cut Pro, which is a brilliant one-time purchase if you're on a Mac. Honestly, you can't go wrong with any of them. So, once you've picked your tool, you're faced with a whole new question. What's the best way to actually learn this thing? Do you just dive headfirst into that endless sea of free tutorials, or do you invest in a more structured program? Well, you've basically got two paths here. The free path, think YouTube. It's kind of like hacking your way through a jungle with a machete. It's an adventure, and it costs nothing, but you're probably going to hit a lot of dead ends. The paid path is more like taking a guided tour. Yeah, it costs money, but it gives you a clear map, a support system, and it can save you months, maybe even years of frustration. All right, it is time to get our hands dirty. And here's the good news. No matter which software you chose, the core process, the workflow, it's pretty much the same everywhere. We're going to build a simple, repeatable process that's going to become the backbone for every single project you ever edit. This 5-step process, this is your new best friend. Seriously, do this every time. First, organize your files. This will save you from so much chaos later on. Second, set up your project file correctly from the jump. Third, trim the fluff. This is where you carve out the core story from your main footage. Fourth, you enhance it by adding in extra visuals and text. And finally, the step everyone wants to skip but absolutely shouldn't, review your entire edit before you export. Mastering this loop is the key to becoming a fast, efficient editor. You're going to hear these terms all the time, A-roll and B-roll. The absolute simplest way to think about it is this. The A-roll is usually the audio, the interview, the part that tells the story. The B-roll is the visual evidence, the clips that show what the story is about. The real magic happens when you start weaving those two together. So, you've mastered the basic workflow. Now we get to level up. This is where we go from being a technician to being an artist. This is where we learn to think like a filmmaker and actually create emotion, not just assemble a bunch of clips. Okay, now for one of the most powerful secret weapons in all of filmmaking, the Kuleshov effect. It sounds complicated, but it's a really simple psychological trick that is the absolute foundation of cinematic editing. It proves that you, the editor, have the power to literally create emotion out of thin air. So, for example, watch how we just create meaning. We take a shot of a person with a completely neutral expression on their face. Then we cut to a shot of a bowl of soup. All of a sudden, the audience doesn't see a neutral expression anymore. They see hunger. Now watch this. We take that exact same neutral expression, But this time, we cut to a shot of a coffin. Just like that, the meaning is transformed. The audience now reads that face as grief. You didn't change the shot of the face at all. You just changed the context. That is the power you have as an editor. So you start thinking beyond just which shot comes next. You start asking yourself questions like, what's my pacing here? Do I want fast cuts to create energy, or should I use slow cuts for drama? What about the sound design? Is this music setting the right mood? And how are the composition and color guiding the viewer's eye where I want it to go? These are the real tools of a storyteller. Okay, let's bring it all home. We are now on the final leg of our journey, taking everything you've learned and turning it into real, actual growth, getting your work seen, and hey, maybe even building a career out of this. The very first and probably most important step is building a portfolio. And it's not just a folder of everything you've ever made. Think of it as your highlight reel. It's the proof that you can actually do the work, and it's absolutely essential if you want to get hired. You know, true, lasting growth comes from this constant cycle. You have to practice just relentlessly, get those first edits done. Then you reflect on your work and you iterate. You find a mentor and work with others to get real feedback. You have to actively develop new skills like motion graphics. And this is the part most people totally miss. You have to market yourself. Don't be afraid to show the world what you can do. And really, this quote says it all, doesn't it? Your skill has to be visible. A brilliant portfolio is completely useless if it's just sitting on your hard drive. You have to put yourself and your work out there. So there you have it, the complete roadmap. We've gone from mindset and tools to workflow and all the way to the art of storytelling. The path is clear. All that's left is for you to start. Thanks for watching.